As many of you know, I try to do things a little differently than most people. How I succeed is, well, kind of up for debate. But what's something I haven't done? Which is a little bit odd question, because considering I did a 20-minute review of retracts, that's pretty different. Considering that most people just treat it as a 2-minute joke review, or a 10-minute parody review if you're a certain YouTuber. Anyway, back on track. What's the one thing I haven't done? An entire subline. If that doesn't excite you, well, you've come to the wrong channel. Generation 2 Axelerators. Today on World of Stuff. Now, in order here, we have Rapido, Scram, the unfortunately titled Windbreaker, and Turbo Fire. Yes, you'll notice that the sticker quality on each tends to vary. I got these individually, so individual results definitely will vary, but at least they came with the weapons, so they are effectively complete. Now you notice on all 4 of these some chrome. Those are actually the weapons. Part of the reason why some of these can be so expensive is because the weapons are included, so that is going to factor into the price if you look for these. Fortunately, all the wheels do turn properly, and at first glance these do look like a very odd scale sort of Hot Wheel cars. Then again, it was the 90s, so everything was a little bit more garish. Moving on to transformation, we'll start with Rapido. We'll carefully remove the weapon, because you don't want to be losing it or breaking it, because that is an option here. As unfortunately with Rapido, the chance of popping the hood off. Joint tolerances are just a little too tight on them, but that's kind of how it ends up working. Anyway, so I folded these down. Fold these down as well. Bring down the hood and twist around that part. Double the car, put the weapon in his hand, and we are Rapido. Scram, very much the same. Fold down, bring down, pop out the weapon, gets it stored in the hood, which is slightly easier to keep track of. Fold up the head, bring down the chest, weapon in hand. Windbreaker. Yes, I do know that it's also a type of jacket, but honestly, what's the first thing you think of when thinking of Windbreaker? Yeah. Okay, fold out the legs, fold down the arms, bring this part out, fold out the head, weapon, and we're done with Windbreaker there. Finally, we have Turbo Fire. And again, fold down, fold out, pop out the weapon, bring up the head, bring down, and pop the weapon in. There we go. The differences are subtle, but they are there. So there is some minor variation to be had, if that excites you. And in robot mode, yes, we see that all 4 of them have this sort of silvery head. Rapido's head is unfortunately obscured due to the way that the body ends up working out, which is kind of neat and kind of funny. Now, they do have light piping, but getting it to work, especially with the smoky gray plastic, might be a little difficult for you, so that's going to be an issue if light piping, especially for vintage, is a thing for you. Articulation is a little bit different for these guys. Don't believe so now. Due to the way that the heads work, you don't get any head rotation. Then again, these are fairly basic, so you kind of need to get that. Okay. For the can get a little bit of upward movement with Rapido here, but again, you got to watch out for that hood chest. Elbow movement, very slight, but there. Nothing for the waist and nothing for the legs. Again, G2. just coming off a G1. So some figures got better off than others. These guys are just really basic. Okay, now for Scram, you got this little bit of wiggle room for the shoulder, elbow rotation, and nothing else. So now, windbreakers, can move the shoulder up a little bit more, can move the elbow, but that's about it. And due to the way that Turbo Fireworks, you're not going to get anything in the shoulder, elbow movement, and yeah, just a break from down there. So these are very simple and make a nice fiddle toy, but just don't expect anything too extreme. Unless you get the bot conversion of Rapido, and honestly, good luck with that one. Now, as for attaining these yourself, well, that's really going to depend on a bunch of factors. Particularly, does any of this interest you? If just one of them excites you, then probably just stick with that one. Getting the whole set, well, it's, if you're a completionist or you have an odd sense of humor, like I do, it does make for an interesting display. Otherwise, you're probably better off looking elsewhere, because this isn't going to do anything particularly new for you. But if you are looking to dip your toe into G2 and looking for something that is more likely to be complete and not broken, then these might be your best bet. Anyway, I'm the Deceptiwolf. These have been the Generation 2 Axelerators. And again, I remind you all, free your mind, free your toys.